What's up? So we are live again, and as you have seen in the thumbnail, yes, today's topic is the 7 habits of highly effective people. Guys, undoubtedly, if you have seen the last evening's video, it was all about the cheesy video, right? I'm sure you would have found it interesting, undoubtedly, right? So let's just wait for some time until our friends join this live, and then we can take it ahead from there. So how was your weekend? All good? All right, guys. Well, I just wanted to say one thing, that is, we've got a tremendous response for your last evening's video, and that was who moved my cheese. Yes, guys. So what I wanted to say is, as I already stated, the cheese is actually a metaphor which is used. Either it can be for our job, for our salary, our personal life, professional life. It can be for the career. It can be for anything. It is just a metaphor which is used in order to explain on what is it exactly all about. Okay, so I hope you got the message, which is what I wanted to present. Okay, and with today's video, let us see what are those habits of highly effective people. So undoubtedly, we would have heard a lot, right? Saying if you want to succeed, probably we have to do something which is really different from others, or probably we have to do something in a different manner, right? So today I'm going to tell you those wonderful habits, which is like a call out habit. Probably if we start imbibing that, and if we start following that, then we can undoubtedly prosper in our life. um, yes, it does take time, but as you all know, time is an investment, guys. That's what I believe in. Time is an investment, undoubtedly. If we invest time now in the right way, then we can see the wonderful outputs, and we can prosper in a long run. Guys, one thing which I really believe is, we cannot build a body in just a day, right? Nothing would happen overnight. It does take time. So with this, let us start off our main agenda, that is the highly effective people. What are the main habits that they follow? The first one is be proactive. Guys, and I'm sure you would be thinking, again we're going back to the scratch. Be proactive. So let me give you a small example, okay? Only when in the professional life or in personal friend, what happens is, once we take a step ahead, then everything would go in line, right? Don't you agree? If only everything has to go in line, then we have to be proactive. If we take that first step, then trust me, we can actually create wonders. And that is the reason, the main difference of the people who are doing a normal routine than to the people who are actually excelling in life is by being proactive. Take proactive steps, take proactive steps, take proactive measures, but always be proactive, either in your personal front or professional. Because if we are proactive, we would also know what are the loopholes or what best we can do. Instead of lacking behind the race, we can actually be in the upfront of the race by being proactive and taking all the measures, take the ownership. Yes, guys, proactive also helps us in taking the ownership and driving towards the common thing or the goal. So be proactive, okay? Being proactive is one such great effective habit of the top race folks will go for, okay? And the second one is, begin with the end in mind. Okay, let me give a small example. Whenever we start off doing a task, what do? We generally see what are the steps involved in it. Probably what all we have to do, we may do a to-do list and then start off doing. But trust me, when we start off thinking what is the end, as in what are we going to fetch out of this, or probably visualizing the end, will actually make us do things even in a better way. So let me tell you one thing. Let's take an example of stage talks. Okay, so for example, if I have to go ahead and do a stage show, only when if I start visualizing the end, as in I'm going to give a real wonderful presentation and everyone are going to applaud me, they're going to praise me, that will make a person stand out of the crowd, right? Why? Because we're already visualizing what is going to happen and we're already going to see the end. When we know the end, obviously it will become easy for us to perform well, right? So let me give you another example, guys. You know what I do at times when I'm watching few movies, right? I actually go to the end because I wanted to know what is going to happen over there. Then it becomes easier for me to relate to whatever is happening. Of course, probably it's not so much suggested, but I think it's good. Think about it, okay? And the third one is put first things first. Yes, guys, what I feel is whenever we start working, put the required things in the first go rather than just including all the sub stuff, and rather than getting into, getting deviated from the actual topic. Put the first things first, as in whatever you have to do a to-do list and start off what is more important. Rather than unimportant things, do the important things so that it becomes easier for you to understand how is it progressing ahead. Okay? And the next one is, well, this is my favorite thing, that is think win-win. Guys, win-win situation is something which can help you grow in a professional career, or it can be anywhere. So win-win actually lets you know that two parties who are involved in any situation or in any task, they get equal opportunities to showcase whatever talents they have. For example, if I ask you, okay, let's get into an agreement wherein I do not give you a chance to put forward your thoughts, then that's a win-lose agreement. Okay, rather if you tell me, okay, we're going to get an agreement and then you have to put your thoughts. However, if you're not letting me to speak, then it would be win-lose agreement. But then the best part over here is win-win situation will give equal opportunities to both the parties to let them put their thoughts forward and also take the inputs from both the parties so that we can work on the better and a progressive manner, right? And the another one is the fifth one. Hi F2, how are you? And the fifth one is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Guys, this is one of the keen. Probably I can say this is something which we really have to look forward. So whenever we have a conversation with people, do not just wait to give your thought process. Do not just wait or keep thinking, okay, what should I respond to this, or probably how can I make them understand. No, first understand on what they are trying to say. So this principle is very simple, guys. It says seek first to understand, then to be understood. As in, even before you want yourself to be understood, we have to first understand on what they are saying, right? For example, you're conversing with a person, okay, you have a doubt, or probably you want to get something clarified. Then what happens? We would talk to them, but before you portray your points to them, before you even speak or before you even put forth your points, the suggested measure is first listen to the points what the other person is saying. First understand and then put forth your points. Hi Vinod, how are you? After a long time, I believe. Okay, so first understand what they're trying to say and then put forth your words in order to get yourself understood. Okay, and the next wonderful principle is synergize. Guys, synergize is something where two people, so synergize is something where two people get into communication, or wherein they coordinate with an activity, they collaborate. It's not just one person. See, guys, it's pretty much understood that only with the one person they cannot succeed, right? So it has to involve two parties. So coordinate and then we can get better output or better results. Okay, and the next one is sharpen the saw, which is the seventh point. Guys, the seventh habit is sharpen the saw, as I stated. If you remember, some time back, I actually made a video wherein there was one person, okay, who is to sharp this axe. He actually cuts the trees. So what happens was he goes ahead and asks his master, asks his boss, stating, "I'm not able to cut a lot of trees like earlier. However, my productivity is reduced now. What can I do?" Then for that, his master or his boss asks, "Did you sharpen the axe?" Exactly, guys. For work, we need to keep upskilling ourselves. Similarly, even if we want to excel in, it can be in either professional or personal friend. If we need to excel, then every day you need to allot some time for yourself. As I stated, out of 24 hours, 8 hours for work, 8 hours for sleep, and the remaining 8 hours, just bifurcate in a way so that you can allot time for yourself, like 1 or 2 hours you can keep it for family, 1 hour for friends, and 1 hour, at least 1 hour for your workout. It can be a cardio exercise or anything, and then for 1 hour do yoga or meditation. What happens is, when we are giving time for ourselves, we are actually energizing. Either it can be spiritually or mentally or physically, we need to be active, and that is the reason it says sharpen the saw. So yes, guys, these are the wonderful 7 habits, the effective habits, guys. So let's understand, let's do a small inference out of it, okay? Out of all these 7 habits, what I understand is, if we follow it thoroughly, then undoubtedly we can prosper. Yes, it takes time, but it does give a good output, right? So that is the agenda. If you have any questions, just post it in the comment box so that we can have a Q&A session, okay, like question and answer session. And if you're visiting my channel for the first time, then do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for all notifications, okay? Okay, guys, so let's just wait for some time for any questions. Today I just thought of having a small session, not big though. F2, this is really very good book. Okay, good book, yeah. Yeah, that's really good book. Actually, the author is Stephen R. Covey, Mr. Covey. Today you're going very fast. um, okay, I'll go slow. Hi, Sheikh Ji, how are you? Good evening. So, F2, would you like me to repeat it again? Or is that okay? Examples for these? Sure. So, let's go again in a chronological order. So, the first one, as I stated, it's be proactive. So, let me give you a small example. How do you think people grow in a ladder wise, like climb up the ladder, they say, right? Grow in career by being proactive. Only when we start off thinking about the next stage, we can perform well. Also, we can upskill to the next level. Okay, for example, let me tell you, you are in OJT, like on job training. Okay, you have finished with training and you have gone ahead to the next level, that is on job training, after which you would go live on floor. Now, in the on job training, the most suggested measure is what people would say basically, hey, it's on job training, so you can actually do so many trial and error methods. You can try out different ways in order to do real good things. So during on job training, what I would suggest is, people, since we are just out of training and yes, we are getting little hands on the work, right? This is the time where you can actually experiment and understand different things. Do not limit yourself to one such area where you're being taught. Rather, go ahead and start checking out all the knowledge based center. So basically we would have the knowledge center, right, where we can find all the process and product related stuff. So what we can do is, at that moment, since we are in on job training and we do have access to all those folders, so what you can do is, see, my suggestion is, we need not wait until the error happen or until we face the error. Okay, in life, even whatever others do, whatever others face, even that also we can learn through an example way. So during on-job training, or when you're in the initial stages of work, wherever you're working, try to do many experiments and learn by doing experiments, because in the initial stage what happens is people don't have much of they wouldn't expect a lot from us, right? Obviously, as and when we grow, the people start expecting, but in the initial stage people don't expect. So that's when we need to start experimenting and start exploring things which are available. Okay, that is being proactive. As in, for example, you are in an executive level and you wanted to grow a ladder to a team lead level or mentor level. What you can do at that moment, first, along with your work, just see, observe what they are doing, and if you can help or if you can pitch in to the next level, go ahead and pitch in and try to help your folks, I mean your peers, or try to understand how the system works. Try to go through some knowledge base center or SOPs, like a standard operating procedure. If you can do any sort of changes, go for it, and take an extra step from whatever you're doing, the general work. Okay, that is proactive. Now, second one is begin with the end in mind. As I stated, visualize what can happen. Okay, so for example, if you are being asked to do a normal case summary or a ticket resolution, or you're being asked to work on a project. What you can do is, even before you start of working on it, start visualizing what could be the output of it. Then what happens is you would automatically have some data in your hand because you've already visualized. Let me give an example in this way. So you're actually going to attend an exam, okay, and you know what are the questions going to be. Now if you visualize that, yes, this, through by taking this examination, probably the results whatever I get are going to be favorable to me. So start visualizing, then you will perform even more better. And as I already stated last evening, remember, whenever we are visualizing, try to give positive affirmations rather than negative. So during the stage show, in the theater artist, what do? Basically they do rehearsal and they start thinking, okay, this is going to be a very good output. At that moment, if we think, oh my god, what if people are going to throw tantrums on us, what if people are going to make fun of us, then our trust me, our gut feeling would go down. Rather, what we can do at that moment is do a paradigm shift and go for positive affirmations, stating, yes, my whatever you're going to do in the stage, that would really come out well, and you would start getting appraisal, people applauding you or praising you and all. Then that those sort of affirmations will make you even more confident, and yes, you can undoubtedly give your best. Okay, the next one is put first things first. Well, this is one thing which I really wanted to call out. Whenever we are working, right, this happens with most of us. Whenever we are working, what happens is there would be some sort of distractions happening in between, right? Like people would ask, if you are doing one thing, people would ask, hey, what about this or what about that? So whenever you're working, ensure that you're not getting distracted. Okay, put first things first, as in, if you are asked to work in one aspect, do that and go to the next aspect. So for example, if you're actually working on a reporting numbers, okay, and suddenly someone asks you, hey, can you just do a little maths and give me this? Now, if it's a small one, take it up, but if it's a big one, tell them in the upfront, listen, I have to finish my task and then only I can do. If we are being hesitant or if you're not able to say no, unfortunately we would be at stake. So understand and go as per that. Okay, so first things first, as in, do not neglect what is the most important thing. When we neglect the important thing, it will become an urgency thing. Okay, so don't let it go to the urgent section, rather pick it up for the important section. Okay, and the next one is think win-win. So let me give you an example for this. Think win-win can actually help us during feedback session. So if you have a team lead or a manager who's giving feedback to the subordinate, okay, so at that time we cannot expect win-win. Why? Obviously they would be thinking of giving a feedback which they expect you to take. But if you are in a parallel position, okay, parallel position, where you both are on the same uh, probably in a different section but same position. Then at that time you can actually talk, put forth your ideas, try to convince, or need not get compromised, but try to put forth your points and then make it a win-win conversation rather than putting it in a lose-win or lose-lose conversation. Okay, ensure that there are advantages in both the ends. That's how we can make it a win-win conversation. Okay, then the next one is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Guys, this is a very good example where I can clearly say that most of the time what happens is when we are conversing with people, most of the time this happens, guys. We always want to put our point forward, right? Don't you agree? We always want to put our point forward, and during that time what happens is we always keep thinking, okay, people don't understand me, they just keep talking about what they want to say. No, guys, if you really want to put your point ahead, then first listen to what they are saying. See, it's always not like, okay, from only from my end, or only not only from their end. It has to be both the sides, okay? So first listen to what they are saying, and then put your point forward, so that you're not just expecting you to be understood by them, but first understand what their point. So let me tell you through an example. Okay, now imagine, let's make an example of home itself. Imagine you're at home, okay, and there are some chocolates put on the table, and you find them that your chocolate is missing. Now, obviously, what would you think? Oh, someone ate it. How can they eat? I want my chocolate. But we don't know exactly what has happened. So, what you would do? You would either go to your parents or you would go to your siblings and say, who ate my chocolate, and so on. But then at that moment, we are trying to put our point forward, right? We are not listening to them. So, first listen to what they are saying. They may say that, okay, no, by mistake I took your chocolate, yours is actually with me, or mine is still, I didn't finish mine, but probably I can give you mine. So now what happens? If we do not listen to that, it will be a big fight at home, right? Like how we generally fight with our siblings. Not exactly, but sort of, right? So at that moment, if we listen to them, then probably we would calm down or cool down and say, at that time, what happens basically? Our parents would involve, and then they would say, you first listen to them, right? Why are you even just getting into the conclusion? You just first listen to them. That's what happens, right? Most of the time, and then it starts off with clashes and so on. So first listen to understand, and then you can put forth your point so that you can be understood. Okay, and the next one is synergize. As I already stated, guys, it's all about the coordination and collaboration, because what happens is, see, only with one person there may not be a greater effect on whatever we do, but if we collaborate with people and if we coordinate, what happens is the level of the effectiveness can actually be increased. So this you can apply it on your professional career, friend, where you would just, for example, you're working, okay, if you're working as an individual contributor, good enough, but if you're working as a team player, a good team, then undoubtedly you would find a lot of output, right? Like wonderful effective outputs. So think about that. Synergize, as in coordinate and collaborate with people, because it produces a great, the joint effort gives a great effective. The sum of their, gets separates. Okay, and the next one is sharpen the saw. As I already stated, anytime, guys, do allocate time for yourself, and to ensure that you have a good output. For example, if I keep working and working and working for 18 or 20 hours, what happens? Obviously, I would fall sick, right? Because I'm not allotting time for myself. Neither there is no me time, neither I'm allotting some time for energizing, or neither we are going spiritual. Now, when we work continuously, or when we are not giving enough exercise for our body, what happens is, take an example of phone, guys. If we keep working on phone, what happens if we do not charge it? It gets out of drain, it gets drained, right? It doesn't have any charge. Now the similar way, what happens is, when you're going to bed, just turn off the phone and put it for charging. After a couple of hours, if you want, you can just turn it off and then put it aside. Do not look at the phone. The next day, the phone starts operating very fast and good. Why that much, guys? Let me give another example. Whenever we work so much on the computer, after a period of time, if we do not turn it off, what happens? All the updates do not get updated in the system or laptop, and it starts performing very slow. Then what does the suggested measure is, first turn it off, or update and then log off. Why? Because the system needs to get updated. Similarly, even our body, every day if you keep on working, and if you do not take out time for yourself in order to energize, then where is the point that you're working for what? Right? So we need to understand that sharpen the saw is mainly for to sharpen yourself on a daily basis. It's not again, okay, I'll do it once a week. No, do it every day. Allot at least 20 minutes of your time for either meditation or yoga or any sort of exercise, because that is very much necessary. If we have to be energized all the day, then we need to take out our little me time. Okay, so yeah, I hope you got some good examples to F2. And so, guys, if you have any questions, do post. So, and yeah, let me just tell you what happened after last evening session. That was a great, amazing thing, you know. I even got to know that homemade cheese actually became a part of a curriculum. That was really wonderful. It's really good that nowadays they're adding such subjects in the curriculum, and it actually helps people to understand at the time of their education itself. So if you see some time back, these things were not added during plus one or plus two. These were actually involved probably in graduation or post grad, right? But it's really good if all such things start off from the childhood itself, because it will let people know on how to deal with people. Undoubtedly, what do we say, okay, in childhood or during our education time, like until plus one or plus two, what do we say? Okay, we see all this numbers, we see all this book stuff, all the theoretical knowledge, but how do we even apply it, right? But if you see nowadays, they're actually adding a lot of management stuff as well during school or during plus one plus two, and that's really good, because when people when the kids are growing, when the children are growing, right, that's the time we need to tell them on how to behave with others, or how to inbuild the humanity stuff grounds. It's pretty obvious, right? Everything is in our hands, guys. If we are thinking that, okay, the society has to work in this way, then we have to teach them on how to do, so that when they grow up, they will obviously eventually do what is being taught, right? So I believe this is really very good move, and such things should be added in the curriculum, so that everyone starts learning at the age when it's actually necessary, right? And yeah, so I think it's a very good move. And if you like this video, do hit like, and do share it with your friends, because these 7 habits will actually make a person to stand out of the crowd. And not only that, as I said, these are the highly effective habits, and which is stated, the author is Stephen R. Covey. And I love this book so much, guys. It has got a wonderful things. A person eventually will start thinking on these grounds, and will start working towards the betterment. So after reading this book, what I understood was, it not only tells us to stand out of the crowd, but it also makes us to think for a while. See, earlier what I used to think was, okay, there would be people, right? There would be people thinking, okay, why should I even take this up? This is not falling under my agenda or whatever. But trust me, when you start working on something really different, that's when we start learning, right? If we ourselves put it in a nutshell or in a small pond, then we cannot grow. So for us to grow, we have to first accept, and then start imbibing these habits in our lifestyle, and then that's when we can actually help others also to grow in their life. Okay, so as I said, today is not a very long session, because I just want to cut short and put it to the crisp, to the point. So yeah, with this, I hope you like the session, and if you want me to cover any other such topics which can actually help to analyze and to grow, right? Do let me know, put it in the comment box. So until then, thank you so much, and stay safe, and bye.